Welcome! Today we're going to talk about The Subway by Christoph Niemann. Now, as a poet working in New York City, I really love using and teaching this book. There's so many fun projects you can do. You can do things with the subway map. You can make trains themselves. You could even do some sensory work making MTA people out of cotton balls. You can let your imagination run wild. Now, this book doesn't really have a song to it per se, but it is a poem. It is a rhyming picture book. And some of the rhymes are a little bit tricky. They're slant rhymes, some of them pretty gracious slant rhymes. So I thought I'd put a video together to kind of walk you through it, teach you how to do it, because it's such a lovely book. And especially if you're a parent here in New York City, it's one that I think is useful. So we're going to jump right in, and I'll stop and talk as we go. But this is Subway by Christoph Niemann. It's cold and wet. What can be done? A trip on the subway, just for fun. Now here we have the blank page, and this is the only blank page in the book. So take your time, have some fun with it. You can look down the track. You could ask your readers what train they think is coming next. Really build up that anticipation here. First comes a breeze. You could maybe wave the book to create a little breeze if you're feeling playful. Then a rumble, you can move your feet, have everyone rumble with you. Hooray! Here is the first train we'll ride today. Riding the A requires some patience if you plan to visit all 44 stations. From Harlem to Brooklyn and Jamaica Bay, then out to the beach at Far Rockaway. And here we have the entire map of the A train. Right, and we get a few maps throughout. And for many of the students I work with, these subway maps and the subway itself is such a passionate topic that we'll pause, we'll talk about the stations. Maybe some people know the stations that they live off of. And it can be a fun page to really stay on. This book has a narrative in that it's a subway adventure a family is taking, but it jumps around a lot. So give yourself the time to stop on each page, let your students or kids explore the page with you. Don't feel like you have to rush through it for the sake of the narrative. Next up is our favorite train, the F. We meet a tourist, a banker, a chef. Witches and cowboys can sometimes be seen, perhaps not today, but on Halloween. And now this is an aside, right? You can have a little fun with it. Perhaps not today, but on Halloween. Your favorite spooky voice. The one train is slow, so if you're late, I guess, you'd better take the 2, which runs express. This isn't a slant rhyme, but it's the first kind of hard rhyme. I remember the first time I tried reading this in a classroom, I was like, the one train is slow, so if you're late, I guess, you'd better take the 2, which runs express. Which you can hear the rhyme, but listen to the way I do it now. The one train is slow, so if you're late, I guess, you'd better take the 2, which runs express. Right, a little bit of a speed up not only helps hit that rhyme a bit cleaner, but it helps convey to your readers and your listeners what's happening. The 1 is slow, the 2 is express. We've tried cars, of course, but finally found that we much prefer to go underground. The 7 is on his way to meet his friends at Times Square, 42nd Street. Another kind of map page. It's not a map so much as it is line colors, but it's equally as exciting. There are plenty of critters on the tracks of the J, enjoying the subway all night and all day. We zoom out of the darkness. We're taking the cue from DeKalb to Canal for a world-class view. And here you can put on your theater hat a little bit. At Bergen, the F is sad to see. He has to separate from his friend, the G. The G says, "Don't cry. I'll meet you again at Roosevelt Avenue." Now, this rhyme, you even heard me kind of stumble over it. This is probably the hardest rhyme in the book. Don't cry. I will meet you again at Roosevelt Avenue. I say it almost like a little robot to hit it. But hit it however you'd like, and don't stress it too much. I think it's a pretty hard one. We could go straight, but we are sure we can come up with a grand detour. Another map page here, and then here, all the characters are shouting, boring! So you can kind of have fun with that too. But I love this map in particular, because here we see the family's route, right? Their adventure. And this can be a fun project to do, especially if you're working with students maybe who are just starting to travel train, right? What's your route? What's your adventure? You can use all the different line colors, all the symbology of the subway, and really get into it with them. Now put on that theater hat again. We have to go. It's getting late. No, it's only 8:30. We plead, we beg, we do complain as Daddy drags us off the train. Now we're turning out the light. We'll have subway dreams tonight. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for listening. I hope that was helpful. Feel free to leave any questions or comments down in the comment section. Let me know if I missed something, if you'd like more of an explanation. And if you'd like to hear me just read this book, you can head to the Read Aloud here. And if you're curious about my original work, check out my children's poetry playlist over here. Thanks, and I'll see you again next time.